The World Future Energy Summit.
Transforming the energy of our planet.
Yes, indeed. In fact, let's focus on all things World Future Energy Summit. Hosted by Masdar, part of Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, all set to return to Abu Dhabi from January the 13th to the 15th. Largest, most ambitious edition yet. Looking forward to WEFES 2026, which convenes next year, early next year in Abu Dhabi, with AI's infrastructure footprint very much a central theme. Why? Well, behind every generative AI tool and smart city application sits massive data centres consuming escalating volumes of electricity and water. Let's talk more about the challenges therein as AI's physical infrastructure comes under the microscope globally. To talk us through this one, we've got the advisor, AI and Smart Cities for the Department of Municipalities and Transport, Abu Dhabi. Mohammad Khan's been able to join us live on the line this morning. Mohammad, really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Listen, we've been hearing a lot from a number of experts in the AI field that, AI has been around in various iterations for many years. And yet it only seems that the narrative has changed in the last 12 to 18 months about the impact that AI's energy footprint is going to have. What do you think's changed?
Well, so in my day-to-day, I advise on scaling AI and smart city services. So I'm joining you today in a personal capacity. And as someone who looks at sustainability and emerging technology, so what we see that's happening across the globe is a challenge, especially around energy and cooling in relation to water. So without having these two in place, it's becoming challenging for people that live in those areas or for cities to actually plan better data centers. With this comes the fact that data centers today consume about 1.5% of global electricity, and the International Energy Agency is expected to see that double as AI scales in the next 5 years. What's interesting is that the die is already cast. So the world has to live with the consequences of the choices that we're making today, especially with AI. And we need to now look at how do we manage this, and which is why conversations such as this are timely during the World Future Energy Summit.
And it's interesting that you mentioned the water because, we're talking about it as an energy story, but the specifics on water and the demands on water, big concern for many moving forward, none more so than from the desert climates here of the UAE as well. In terms of solutions to this binding constraint, where are we at in terms of preparing for that?
That's an interesting question, early stages, and I think there is a lot of planning that's taking place. A few global examples I can share with you. In Scotland, currently data centers consume about 14 million litres of water, and this has quadrupled in the last 3 years. In India as well, there is a projection for AI data centers to consume from today, which is about 150 billion litres of water, to 350 billion litres. And mind you, that's in a country that only has 4% of the globe's water resources. We hear stories in the United States where people that live next to data centers are complaining about their water supply being impacted and that sediment is actually coming through. So there has to be a thought process and planning around how we structure these data centers, especially in desert climates. You cannot mimic the models from Nordic countries. So we need to look at treated wastewater, integration with district cooling, and other efficient methods of setting up data centers.
Let's turn to Abu Dhabi, because we know Abu Dhabi making a large play with regards to all things AI. We've seen the plans for Stargate UAE, 5 gigawatts, largest AI campus outside the US. That will come with its challenges, not just for water consumption, but also for energy. We're told that it's designed around solar, nuclear, and efficient cooling. What does that mean operationally? Explain that to us more.
Well, so first of all, that's a very deliberate approach. I think having that set and planned for using a mix of solar, nuclear, and natural gas is a testament to the UAE's vision. They're not relying on the grid, and there's a strong focus of making sure that clean energy and renewable energy plays an important aspect in the development of AI. There are strong collaborations and partnerships between the likes of ADNOC, Masdar, G42, in what they call AI for energy and energy for AI. So essentially what they're looking for is how do we minimize the use on the grid so that we don't impact the environment. So there's a lot of deliberate planning prior to scaling.
Yeah, you mentioned also that you're consulting with the Department of Municipalities and Transport in Abu Dhabi. I mean, in terms, and what strikes me about this, Mohammed, is it seems to be approach. Yes, we have identified that there is going to be an energy and water problem. It's more about how organisations, departments, governments approach these issues. Give me an example, if you can, about how DMT is approaching, A, the conversations that will be had at the World Future Energy Summit, and potential solutions as well.
So from an organizational perspective, this is not our mandate. The organization looks primarily at the development of the city, but people across the organization that are part of such conversations, their aspect is how do we minimize the reliance on the grid, so setting up newer ways. So there's a Sidama program in Abu Dhabi that looks at how do we incorporate solar energy in buildings. We're also looking at offsetting carbon emissions by incorporating sort of green walls and green rooftops across the city, at bus shelters and so on. So there are ways that we're looking at this, but our focus isn't on AI data centers.
Mohammad Khan, thank you so much indeed for your thoughts, and we look forward to catching up again in the build-up to the World Future Energy Summit, and certainly at the summit itself in early January down in Abu Dhabi. Mohammad Khan there, advisor AI and smart cities, joining us live here on the line ahead of the World Future Energy Summit, WEFES 2026. You can find all the details on their website.